Thank you for coming to my talk today. My name is Nevins. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Umba Daima. We are an NFT studio, and we do ecosystem development in Web3 or crypto, blockchain. And our focus is on creating an industry that is inclusive of Black and brown people, women, and people from diverse backgrounds, people from developing nations, so that they are not left behind in this technological revolution. Here's a brief overview of my background. I'm a former teacher and community organizer, eventually became a software engineer and an engineering manager, so I have a technical background, and then I transitioned into the blockchain industry, where I'm a full-time CEO. As a result of the work that I do, I get to work with amazing artists from all over the world, and working with them one-on-one and in groups within the NFT crypto space, and I'm going to break down NFTs and crypto and blockchain in a second. But I get to work with these amazing artists. They produce beautiful, beautiful artwork, and some of them have been able to earn up to 6 figures in revenue. And this is life-changing revenue for a lot of these artists, especially when you're talking about artists that live in countries in Africa or countries in Asia, for example. The impact on their lives are really, really significant. But most of them are not millionaires. And most people that create NFTs are not millionaires, right? And at the end of the day, this is not even really what matters. What matters here is blockchain technology and the power that this technology has to revolutionize many industries. So what is blockchain? Well, blockchain is a distributed ledger, okay? And it's essentially an electronic list of records. And these records are stored on what we call tokens or digital tokens. And these digital tokens function similar to assets, okay? These digital tokens can either be fungible or non-fungible. If they're fungible, it means that every single token is the same and has the same value, similar to a currency like the US currency, or a $20 bill, right? Every $20 bill has the same value. And then you also have non-fungible tokens, which is where every single token is unique. And in that situation, this digital token or unique digital asset is pointing to a physical or intellectual property that is tied to that token. Okay, so if I give an example, you can tie an NFT to a car, you can tie it to a house, you can tie it to a deed for a property, you can tie it to any sort of valuable thing that represents ownership, or any sort of item that is highly valuable or could be valuable, whether it's physical property or intellectual property. And intellectual property is creations of the mind. So this is designs, artwork, fashion, music, okay, logos, names, and things like that. Those are all intellectual property. And so the power of this technology is that it can be used to solve problems. In the art industry in particular, we're seeing that artists are now able to monetize their art in a way that they couldn't before. And they're able to use this really smart technology to implement things like royalties, where every single time their art is sold as an NFT, they get a percentage of the sale. So if one day their art goes from being worth 5 or 10,000 to being worth 5 or 10 million, they are still able to participate in that revenue. And if they've passed on, their families are able to participate in that revenue. That's the power of this type of technology. When you use technology to solve meaningful problems, what happens is there's rapid growth, and then there's disruption of existing industries. And we're already starting to see that happen. Okay? And then when you disrupt industries, that leads to wealth creation. And so here are some use cases of how blockchain technology can actually be used beyond art. So you have digital currency. The most common currency that people are familiar with is Bitcoin. You also have ETH, you have Dogecoin, you have Matic, which is built on Polygon. And so you have all these different examples of currencies that are being used as almost kind of like the currency that allows you to interact in these virtual economies and can be used on these virtual platforms. Okay, and these platforms have particular particular benefits, and that's why you're seeing so many different blockchains pop up, because each blockchain has a different use. Think of a highway in a city, right, or in a state, and you have different highways. And so these currencies can be used to access different highways and use those highways to do different things or go to different places. Okay. You also have record management. That's another use case. So for example, in the healthcare industry, you can use digital tokens or digital assets to tie people's personal health records and personal health data to themselves, and they can take that data with them wherever they go, whatever hospital or doctor that they go to, that data continues to move with them. Okay, you can also use it in industries like real estate to track deeds. You can use it in industries like events, for ticket sales, and you can also use NFTs in particular for tracking people's personal online data. So imagine that when you use all of these different platforms, for example, Facebook and Instagram, etc., Google search engine, they're tracking your data and they're actually selling your data and making money off of you. Imagine if all of your data could be stored on a token that's tied to your personal identity, and then you own that token and you can sell that data if you want to. Another use case is art, again, which is the most popular use case that we've seen so far for NFTs. And the fourth use case that is also really exciting is community building and engagement. Okay, you can use NFTs to create access to communities. You can use them to create access to any sort of membership type platform. So if you have a business that involves coaching or that involves bringing people together around some particular type of service or shared interest, NFTs are actually a really great way to incentivize people or even reward people for participating in your program or visiting your restaurant or using your service. And then when they're finished with that service, they can actually sell it and potentially make some money off of it, or at least earn back what they actually spent when they first bought it. So blockchain technology equals disruption, and disruption equals wealth. And this is really, really, really important, because the true opportunity here is for underprivileged communities to be involved in this disruptive process, okay? Underprivileged communities around the world are dealing with significant wealth disparities. And in the United States, for example, the largest and most worrisome disparity for many people is the disparity between Black and white households, okay? If you look at the statistics in the presentation, you'll see that in 2019, the median wealth was $24,000 which is 12.7% of the median white wealth, okay? That's for Black families compared to white families. And the average wealth was $142,000, which is 14.5% of the average white wealth. Okay, this is a massive gap, and this is very concerning. And what we've seen is that throughout history, regardless of the different policies that have been put in place to help equalize things, this gap continues to remain the same. It has not budged since the civil rights movement. Okay, so what is happening here? We have a situation where every single time a new industry is created and disruption happens, people from these disadvantaged communities are not able to participate. Okay, instead they're passive consumers, as opposed to being builders, as opposed to being entrepreneurs, as opposed to being founders, the ones that are actually using these innovative technologies to solve problems and build wealth in the process. And so it's really important that we make sure that women, Asians, Black people, Latino people, right, that people from developing nations are able to learn and understand how this technology works, because blockchain is going to disrupt every single industry in the world. It is already happening, and it's either you are disrupted or you do the disrupting. And so here's a few ways that people can participate in this new industry. You can invest in startups, you can launch a company, you can use the technology for some particular use case, you can even join a startup, right, and help to participate in building that platform or that company from scratch. You can create grant programs, you can do education, which is a big part of what my company does, and you can build technology if you're a developer or a product manager. And so there's many different ways to participate in this industry. And so if anybody is interested in learning more about how you can do this or what you can do to get involved or to get engaged, please reach out to me. Please reach out to my company. This is our QR code. You can scan it, and you can find a list of links, and it will show you all of the different projects that we're involved in. We do events all over the world. We do programming online almost every single day of the week, and the vast majority of it is completely free. Thank you so much for having me today, and enjoy the rest of your conference.